Einstein's equation E equals mc squared shows that mass and energy are interchangeable. The theory of special relativity explains how space and time are linked for objects that are moving at a consistent speed in a straight line. One of its most famous aspects concerns objects moving at the speed of light. Wow. If you don't want to work that hard to sound intelligent, then this lesson might just be the thing you need. Welcome back to Love English. In today's lesson, I'm going to share with you 10 advanced adjectives that are going to help you sound intelligent, smart, educated, and of course, native. Now, these 10 adjectives are advanced, but they are also commonly used in day-to-day English, whether spoken or written. In today's lesson, I'm going to give you 10 sentences with a very boring, dull, common adjective, and I'll then be replacing it with a more advanced one that will impress any native speaker and of course your teacher. Whether you want to sound more professional, more academic, or generally impress your native speaking friends, these 10 adjectives are really going to help boost your fluency and your English level. Now, before we get started, of course, don't forget to click that subscribe button. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And don't forget, using these adjectives is essential. So make sure you try and use them in the comments section below. Whether you try one or two of these words or have a go at trying to use all 10, practice makes perfect. You'll be able to remember these adjectives better if you use them. So, on with the lesson and off with these. Let's get started. 10 adjectives to help you sound incredibly intelligent, native, and fluent. Number 1. The party was boring. The party was boring. The lesson was boring, although of course you would never say that about my lessons. Rather than using the word boring, try this one. Mundane. Mundane. It is a synonym of boring. Mundane, uninteresting, dull, boring. The party was rather mundane. The lesson was a bit mundane, wasn't it? I nearly fell asleep. You can use the modifier rather to express a little bit more sophistication in your sentences. It was rather mundane. It was a little mundane. It was really mundane. Right, number 2, difficult. The homework was incredibly difficult. Wow, it was really, really hard. So difficult and hard, rather use arduous. Arduous. The homework was arduous, meaning difficult, requiring a lot of effort and concentration, something that really you didn't enjoy doing. So arduous. The homework she gave us was arduous. Number 3, when someone doesn't care, they're not particularly interested or concerned. You cheated on the test? This is serious. You should really care a little bit more. You really shouldn't be so flippant. That was quite an important test to cheat on. So when you describe a person as being flippant, you are criticizing them for not taking something as seriously as they should. You shouldn't be so flippant about the exams. Number 4, annoyed. Annoyed. We all use this word, often when we're talking about family or studying. So when you're doing something, you're working hard and things are not happening the way you want them to. You're not being successful in what you are trying to achieve. And you're annoyed, frustrated, and quite probably tired. I was exasperated after trying to fix the engine for 3 hours. I was exasperated after trying to work out the maths equation. I just couldn't do it. It could also be because you're giving people instructions and they are still not following them. So as a teacher, I might become exasperated when my students don't complete their homework when I ask them to. Luckily, I've got some very good students at the moment, so I am rarely exasperated. Number 5, if you don't know something, you're not aware of it, but really you're not aware of it because you haven't paid much attention. You're not really caring. To be oblivious to something. He walked into class 15 minutes late and was completely oblivious that the teacher was exasperated. He was totally oblivious to how rude he sounded at the party, but everybody else noticed. Oblivious. The next two I'm going to give you can be interchangeable. They are essentially synonyms of each other, but with some small differences. If you say somebody is so tidy and organised, or she takes exceptional care when doing something, particularly when it's to do with cleaning and tidying, you could say fastidious. She is incredibly fastidious, meaning to be concerned with small details, paying attention to what you do. Now, the next word, meticulous, is very similar in meaning. To pay close attention to something that you do. She is meticulous when completing her homework. Everything is done perfectly and she doesn't miss anything. She's concerned with accuracy and detail. Meticulous. Now, the difference between these two words is that fastidious is usually connected to cleaning, being tidy and organised, whereas meticulous can be both and in fact can be used in more situations. So we'd say someone is meticulous when it comes to their homework, but maybe fastidious when it comes to organising their desk. So a person who is not fastidious, if you said they're not very fastidious, you might be implying that they're dirty or unclean or untidy. If you say that somebody is not very meticulous, you could be saying they're essentially sloppy and not caring about how they do things. Number 8. That film was really complicated. Did you understand the storyline? I really didn't follow it. Convoluted. Convoluted. So, if you describe particularly a story, a plan, or even an argument when someone's trying to explain the reason that they're doing something and people don't agree, you could say, that's a rather convoluted argument. Or, the film was so convoluted, I really didn't understand the plot at all. So convoluted, a fantastic adjective meaning essentially rather complicated and difficult to follow. Number 9, conscientious. Conscientious. Now, you might have heard this word before. It is very common, and if your teacher has said that you're a conscientious student, they have paid you a real compliment. To do your work well, with duty and respect. Taking something seriously and being careful how you do it. So if someone is described as a conscientious student, they would be paying attention in class, taking notes, doing their homework, and probably doing some extra study in the evening as well. At the moment, my media students are exceptionally conscientious, and therefore they are succeeding in their studies. So comment below, are you a conscientious student? And finally, number 10, zealous. Zealous. So zealous, an adjective meaning to put a great deal of effort into something. It's actually used sometimes with the prefix overzealous. To be overzealous can be quite negative. So basically it means when someone tries very, very hard, putting a lot of effort in and enthusiasm into something. A synonym might be eager, keen, really wanting to do something or achieve something. She was really very zealous in expressing her plans and ideas to the class. In fact, I think she may have been overzealous to the point that the class really weren't very happy with her ideas. So, going back to being a student, if a student is overzealous, perhaps they are always putting their hand up in class and answering the questions before everybody else. And there we have it, 10 advanced adjectives that I will remind you are commonly used in English. These are not random words that I found in a dictionary. These are words that we really do use on a day-to-day basis. So if you've got any extra words that you'd like to share below, any advanced vocabulary that you have come across during your studies, then please do share them with other students. And of course, try using some of these 10 adjectives in a sentence for me to check. If you'd like to look at some more examples of vocabulary or expressions to help you sound intelligent, just click here. Thanks for watching. Bye.